Like any group of people, the professors that you're going to encounter or have encountered in your college career are all going to be different from one another. But many, if not most of them, genuinely do want to create a connection with you as a student for both professional and personal reasons. So you should go into the opportunity to create that connection and that engagement with the knowledge that they genuinely do want to connect with you too. So at every university, there's going to be lots of different categories of professors. There's not just professors. There's lots of different categories. And from a student's perspective, it probably doesn't really matter what that category is, so much as what is really driving that professor to be in higher education, to be in the classroom, or be just a professor. The really important thing from a student's perspective is to understand kind of what is the dominant purpose or role that a professor has, on campus. And there's really kind of two big categories. The first category is research. So those professors are really obviously driven by understanding their discipline, whatever it might be, and really wanting to create new insights through doing research. So those kinds of professors will obviously be focused on being in a research lab or being out in the field, working whatever that field may be, working literally in the field perhaps, but also just kind of being out in the environment and working with whomever it is that, is their focus. Then on the other kind of category are those who are very focused on teaching, and that's their principal motivation. So, they're the ones developing new classes, new curriculum. They'll be, working on really enhancing their own craft of how to teach, how to engage students. The vast majority are going to be kind of having both of those elements to varying degrees. So you're going to have those who may have a more research-focused appointment and on campus, still teaching, even undergraduates, probably largely graduate students, but undergraduates as well. And even those teachers who may have, or professors who may have more of a teaching role, would still be very interested in their discipline. They may not be doing specific research, but they're definitely going to be very focused on reading other research and talking to people in that industry and really understanding the discipline. So there's these two big categories, but most are going to be involved in both. The reason for explaining and sharing those differences is because those differences then have an impact on the motivations as to why a professor would want to connect with a student. And from the student's perspective, why they might want to connect, and even more so, how they may want to connect with a professor. But the key thing is that both parties should be connecting, and there is a reason to connect. So what's in it for them? Why does a professor want to connect with a student? So the first reason is that they have a passion in their discipline. Now, again, it may come out in terms of wanting to do research and delve into that and create new insights, and others are they just want to teach that particular discipline. But regardless, they have a passion for that particular discipline. And as a result, that's a reason why they would love to connect with students, to share that passion with their students, to go even deeper, into that topic, during office hours or, just in the hallway, after class, before class, because they're passionate about it. For me, I grew up in Kansas City and am a dedicated Kansas City Chiefs fan, which probably maybe some of you are booing me for that. And actually, when I've mentioned that in class a couple times, I've even had students boo me. And it's all in fun, and I don't mind that at all. I'm passionate about the Chiefs. I've watched them, since I was a little kid. I just am passionate about it as well. And so I'm happy if someone sees me wearing a Chiefs t-shirt or sees my license plate that has Kansas City Chiefs on it. You want to talk about it? I'm happy to talk about it. I'm also a dedicated sneakerhead, and so I've got a big collection of sneakers, and you want to talk about the sneakers I'm wearing? I'm down. I'm sure you have your individual passions as well that you're more than happy to talk about and are excited when someone shows that interest. So professors are the same way. If they're really focused on whatever their discipline is, of course they're going to be like excited to share that with you too. If you come in and want to learn more about it and go deeper into the topic and ask even questions kind of outside of the class's kind of scope and talk about other things, they're going to be very interested in engaging with you because of that passion. Another reason why I think many professors, particularly I can say speaking for myself, are really interested in reaching out to students and getting that feedback is because they are passionate about teaching. And so I always enjoy connecting with my students and hearing their feedback because I want to continue to grow as a teacher. And if the only way to do that is to hear from my students, then of course I want to connect and listen to you. Now, are all professors that way? Absolutely not. I think the vast majority of the teachers and professors that I know and have come across in my, more than 2 decades of teaching are genuinely interested in hearing, what did you like about the class? What was challenging about the class? There's teacher and course surveys that you probably take or can take at the end of, a semester and give that feedback. And that's great. But I would much rather hear from students face-to-face, one-on-one, depending on, that student's kind of comfort level to speak openly about the class. And I am very open about it because I'm always trying to improve my craft. So how can I improve my craft without hearing from students, the people to whom I'm trying to share this knowledge? How can I get any better if I don't hear from them? And yes, a teacher course evaluation is a somewhat useful tool. And maybe some professors place more value in that than I do. I much prefer hearing directly from a student. And so I try to make myself open, and I know a lot of other professors do, but that's a reason why they're also open to hearing from you, even during the semester or after the semester, to just share that this assignment was great, I really liked it. Maybe have you thought about doing it this way? I think most professors are going to be open to that. Another reason why professors generally are going to be open to connecting with you is because that one-on-one connection helps building a stronger learning community more broadly within the major, but definitely within that classroom itself. I think about it for myself. If I have my classes, it typically are around 40 to 50 students. If I have a connection with a lot of students, that just makes that classroom environment more approachable, I think, for many students. And as a professor, it makes it easier when I have that kind of connection with a student, and it's not just a bunch of faceless, people sitting in a room. That is, I know their story, at least to some degree, because I think that kind of personal connection just makes it much easier in the classroom, not only for me, but I think it also makes it easier for the student too to connect, saying, I'm talking to somebody I know and I'm listening and I can raise my hand and talk to somebody that I know rather than just, kind of a stranger. For the same reason that you would get more meaning out of that club or that sorority, that fraternity, or some other, kind of activity you might be in, if you have that deeper, kind of connection with the individuals, that's the same reason that you'd be able to get that out of a classroom, and the same reason that a professor would get something out of that too. There's also just a genuine personal interest in connecting with people. When I stand up in the front of a classroom that first day or throughout the semester, and I look out, I see people. I see, young adults that have interesting stories. And why wouldn't I want to connect with them on a personal level too and know about their stories and get some enjoyment out of that knowledge too? I have had the great fortune and feel blessed in many ways that students that I saw in the classroom on day one, 8 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, now are people who are that I'm very close with now, on a personal level. And I take a lot of value in that personal connection. And I know I'm not unique in that way at all. So I think there's a reason, even at a personal level, for you to want to reach out and make that connection. And hopefully there's some value for you to have that personal connection too. So please know that there is a person on the other end of that relationship, that engagement, that really wants you to reach out and connect with them. So take the opportunity to go in and see your professors during office hours, to visit with them for the few minutes before class that you have or after class. They want to connect with you.